Hey there, Alex here. Welcome to Sweet Spot Soul and another episode. I'm going to talk today about moment to moment balancing. And I'm bringing this up because I've gotten a lot of different questions around what the other person is doing, whether they're coming in, maybe they're in a lot, maybe just a little, maybe they're in another situationship, maybe they're married, all these different scenarios and stories. And they don't really matter in the sense of what do I do because they are doing this. You're still going to balance until it becomes second nature. Now, what I want to talk about first is as a frame here. I talk a lot about the scale of consciousness, right? Or the levels of awareness that ascend with you as you ascend your frequencies. Why does that matter? Because your frequencies are directly tied to your embodiment of soul. So there's things that you can do to bypass actually ascending the frequencies and just jump right into soul. Absolutely. And I think this is a really, really important practice. That's why I meditate in the morning and at night. That's why I meditate in the middle of the afternoon, is to bring myself into that soul space. If I'm not there all day long, that's where I want to make sure that I'm anchoring as much in that space and really fill myself with those feelings of being in that space. Super important. And that's that presence. And so if I'm not doing that, I'm breathing through the heart all day long as best I can and staying 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, doing that coherent breathing, which brings the mind and heart into coherence, which it raises your frequency. It raises your level of awareness and consciousness because you're present when you're doing that. So these things are really, really important and moment to moment important to work on. And especially when you're dealing with that other who's either coming in and out or not there at all or in another situationship, whatever is going on. Again, when you go into mind about all of that stuff, not good, not what we're supposed to do, right? So we want to stay present. So when I say that I want for you to feel the feelings, don't go to the mind, don't go to the stories, don't go to the past, and don't go to the future. Don't take a position on it. Don't judge, none of that, right? Feel the feelings. And then when I say you to be proactive, to move yourself up the scale of consciousness, I'm saying to go to your inside, to your mind within and say, what was I feeling? This is taking radical responsibility for you. This is an inner union job for you as a divine feminine or as the push twin flame or the divine feminine being supposedly supposed to be in the negative polarity who's now not there. It's our job to put our attention on ourselves, to collapse duality within ourselves, to bring our nervous system up, ascend our nervous system to higher levels, to be able to handle more of this input coming in from the world and especially from the twin or the other who is reflecting the most of the world of who you are back to you, and to take that radical responsibility to ask the inner questions so that you don't have the same reaction happening over and over and over. So something comes at you from the twin or somewhere else in your life, you feel a trigger, you feel the feelings, you don't go to the mind, you let that calm, then you can go and say, okay, what was it that I was feeling? Or you could just go straight to the mind and say, or to soul and say, if I'm supposed to understand something, give me a revelation, please. Just show me and let it go and just let that happen. Let that happen naturally, organically. If you want to actually say, oh, I know what that feeling was. I get that feeling every time this happens. And you haven't ascended that yet. You haven't let go of the beliefs underneath that yet. And so it continues to hit you every time. If you don't tend to that, you're going to continuously have to bypass it, shove it back down and pretend it's not there and try to be in soul. And again, great to be in soul, but if you're not actually dealing with some of these things, you're going to have to balance like this forever and ever and ever. Yes, you're going to have to do it for a long time if you just let it happen and just ask for a revelation, but it'll be a continual process for some time. You're wired for this. You're meant for this. You're meant to get through it. So that will do it. When you take a little bit of proaction, just mind you, I'm a personal growth junkie. I have been all my life. My relationship to personal growth is literally 500. It's like, I love it. I love it. It's even been measured. So like, I love it. So for me to say this is like second nature, and I understand it may not be for others. And so you may be misunderstanding when I say go to the mind. I'm not saying go to the mind and tell stories or think about the twin or project or get attached or any of that, take a position, judge, anything. I am saying, is there something that's within me that's creating a stop, or a belief that I have that's creating this tension that I'm feeling, this shame that I'm feeling, this guilt that I'm feeling, this frustration that I'm feeling, this abandonment that I'm feeling, this rejection that I'm feeling? Is there something in me that I'm believing to be true, or that I'm believing or identifying with, that's making me constrict like this and suffer? And what is that? And what would I need to believe for that to be true? And is there something else? Is there another way of looking at this? How does love see this? Can I take a higher stance and a higher awareness on this? Because this is what's going to transmute that stuff into the next level and into the next level. And you might have that same general sort of feeling come, but from a new higher vantage point. And so that's what that scale is about. It's showing you the basic core frequency that you are at, that's the lens that you're seeing the world through. That is the attractor field of thoughts that you're attracting in naturally, because that's the radio station you're tuned into. So if you're tuned into a lower station, you're going to have to balance more and more and more if you want to just jump into soul. And you're going to get triggered a lot, and you're going to have to get really present. And maybe this is only around the twin and you want to just let everything else in your life go. That's fine, right? But if you take on a stance that everything that's happening in your life, and this becomes your new way of being, everything that's happening is happening for you, it's coming to you for you, whether it's just a small little aspect coming from this person or that situation or that job or that whatever, or your little habits that you're not happy with, or ways that you don't feel that you're treating yourself right, these different things. Maybe you look in the mirror, you're not happy with what you see in the mirror, that's triggering you. Whatever these things are, you can take it from everywhere in your life, and it will be especially charged around the twin. But again, if we're not focusing on the twin and we're just looking at bringing ourselves into the highest levels of awareness, so that we can be at peace and at love with ourselves and love ourselves again, then why not do this everywhere? Why make the twin special? That's what's keeping it separate anyway. That's what separation consciousness is. So if we can look at everything that's happening for us and say, oh, I'm feeling a little trigger. And that moment to moment balance is, what am I feeling right now? Can I get quiet and still and let this feeling be okay? All right, awesome. Get past that piece. And then you can say, okay, soul, what is it that you want me to do next? Or can you show me something that is going to help me to not have this feeling again? What action should I take now? Right? Not focusing outside, total self-responsibility. And the more that you let go of these beliefs and these different trapped traumas and things, the more room you have for soul to embody. And that's what this whole journey is about: self-love and soul embodiment. At least to me, that's what it is. It's not just about balancing the twin back in. It's not just about bypassing all the things that are happening that we need to grow to just be in soul. Absolutely, we want to be there. That's where we're ultimately going. We want to practice that and love it and live it as much as we possibly can. But if we don't address the things, it's just going to keep hitting us more and more. You'll get there. You will get there. I'm just saying you can get there more consciously when you bring more awareness to it. If you're going to spend that much time trying to get into soul, you may as well put a little awareness onto, okay, what did I take in? Not what did they do? Again, nothing outside of you. I got this trigger. This is what I felt. When have I felt it before? What is that from? Do I need to know more about it? Can I just see this with a different light? Can I love the inner child? Can I love myself through this? Because this is not true for me. That's why it feels bad. It feels bad because it's not as source sees it. It's not as soul sees it. So it's a distortion. Therefore, can I put a little tiny bit of attention on myself, on my inner child, and say, I love you. This is not true. And I see you. And maybe there's something that you can do for yourself in that case to rebuild and to see this again. So you'll never hit that same level again. You might hit it from a new higher awareness and be able to alchemize that. And then the next higher and so on and so on. And that's a beautiful thing. But that's what I'm talking about when I say raising your level of consciousness is the game. You're collapsing that duality because you're collapsing separation consciousness, because the only separation consciousness is distorted ways of seeing the world and seeing yourself as separate and needing to defend that, and so on and so on. So I hope this makes some sense. I really, really do, and brings it more and more together. I'm going to continue on the same track here. Soul embodiment, self-love, focusing on you and your inner union is going to get you to that stage where you will be out of pain. You will be in love with life, in love with yourself. And this is that first and most important stage. I should say it's not a stage. This is your work as the divine feminine, right? As the negative polarity, divine feminine, in her proper orientation as a negative polarity, not push, not in going and seeking. And then comes the masculine. Then they can come in and ground this as you're collapsing the whole of the soul into an awareness at the fifth dimension level. Then the twin can meet you there and ground it, that fifth dimensional living, into the 3D, into the physical world. And that's their role. But we have to do our role. And that's why I'm teaching inner union, because that's our role. And if we keep focusing on them, then we will not get to this place that we need to get to. So I'll talk more about that later, but I don't want you to focus there. I just don't. I want you to focus on you. And I'm hoping that this is going to help you to, again, work day to day to day, moment to moment, and get more out of your efforts to be in soul, so that when you are there and you're calming down, you can do something more with that and just accelerate your journey. We need more twins to come together. We need more twins to come into inner union and peace. And you know what? I have a lot of people too that are like, get me off this journey. What if they're not my twin? What if they're just this? And again, the job is the same. You want to be free. You want to be free. You want to be in love with yourself and with your life. And that's what I'm here to teach you, is how to do that. And when and if it's the twin, and in divine timing, they will come in. They will come in. So yeah, that's what I want to share today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you need some help from me, please check the description box or the channel description, so you can find a little bit more about my other channel and stuff. And yeah, hope I can help out. All right. Thanks so much. And I'll see you in the next video.